You walk into the airport with your suitcase, passport, and 2 hours to spare. Everything seems clean, modern, and under control. But from the moment you enter, the game has already started. You're not just a passenger, you're part of a system carefully designed to manage your mood, control your movement, and squeeze out every last dollar. Why does your phone battery suddenly die next to the one charging port in sight? Why does walking on carpet near security make you feel strangely sluggish? And why, after arriving early, do you still end up waiting at the gate for 40 minutes? These aren't coincidences. Airports and airlines use behavioral science, psychological tricks, and even coded language to keep you calm, spending, and unaware. In this video, we're uncovering 17 tricks and tactics hidden in plain sight, plus a bonus secret that most passengers fall for every single time. Once you know them, you'll never travel the same way again. Let's start at the entrance, because that's where the manipulation begins. Ever notice how getting from the entrance to your gate feels like walking through a labyrinth? That's not poor planning, it's deliberate. Airports are designed to make you slow down, get disoriented, and pass by as many shops and kiosks as possible. Long, snaking hallways with unclear signs? That's revenue engineering. The more steps between you and your gate, the more likely you are to buy something out of boredom, hunger, or stress. Even the walking escalators, the ones that feel like they'll speed things up, are placed selectively. In areas where airport vendors don't want you rushing, they're nowhere to be found. And it works. Most travelers spend at least 20 to 40 minutes longer inside terminals than they need to, just because they were wandering. At first glance, that soft carpet near the security line seems like a nice touch. Cozy, right? But it's not there for comfort. It's behavioral engineering in action. When your feet shift from slick tile to plush carpet, your brain subconsciously slows your walking pace. It triggers a physical cue. Calm down, relax, move slower. Airports call this cognitive friction, and it's used to control the speed and mood of passengers heading into high-stress zones like TSA checkpoints. It's not just about pacing, it's about compliance. Calmer travelers are easier to scan, search, and process, and when you feel slowed down but not sure why, you're less likely to push back or ask questions. So the next time you shuffle across that cozy carpet, just know, it's not for your comfort, it's for their control. You finally find an empty seat near your gate with a charging port. Jackpot. Your phone's at 12%, and that USB slot is your savior. But what if I told you plugging in here could expose more than just your battery level? Some airport charging stations double as data traps. It's called juice jacking. Malicious software hidden in public USB ports can access your device the moment you plug in. And in some cases, surveillance tools like hidden microphones or miniature cameras are built into the same seating areas, especially near security zones. You think you're just topping off your phone, but you might be charging someone else's data vault. The safest bet? Always use a portable power bank or a plug-in charger, not public USB ports. Because the next time you power up at the airport, you might be powering up trouble. You're heading to your gate and spot an ATM, conveniently placed right next to the escalator. Perfect time to grab some quick cash, right? Not so fast. Airport ATMs are notorious fee machines. Between service charges, foreign transaction fees, and terrible exchange rates, you could lose up to 10% of your money in a single withdrawal. And that's before your own bank slaps on their cut. It's all part of the convenience tax. Airports know you're in a rush and willing to pay for speed, even if it quietly drains your wallet. And it gets worse for international travelers. Use a card from another country? Some of these machines offer dynamic currency conversion, which sounds nice, but locks you into a bad rate. The fix? Withdraw cash from your own bank or trusted ATMs before you enter the airport. It's less flashy, but a lot smarter. Everyone complains about long TSA lines, but have you ever wondered why the layout feels so tense? That zigzag maze of ropes, cramped lanes, and abrupt instructions isn't just for efficiency. It's behavioral control. The tighter the line, the more anxious and obedient people become. You're packed shoulder to shoulder, movement restricted, authority figures everywhere. Airports and security agencies want that discomfort. It encourages compliance and discourages pushback. Because in that moment, you're not just a passenger. You're a subject in a system built to move you, not help you. Even the background sounds, beeps, barking orders, overhead announcements, are part of a sensory overload that keeps you alert but submissive. You feel watched because you are. And once you get through, that wave of relief, that's part of the design too. It conditions you to accept the process without question. You finally get through security. Your stomach's growling, and the first thing you see? A tiny sandwich for $14 or a granola bar for $6. Seems outrageous, but you still buy it. Why? It's called captive pricing. Once you're past security, you've got no alternatives. No food delivery apps, no cheaper stores, just overpriced kiosks designed to exploit your hunger and fatigue. They've got you cornered, and they know it. Even the scent of warm food is weaponized. That fresh-baked cookie smell, pumped into the air system near food zones? You think you made a choice, but your cravings were manipulated before you even looked at the menu. Want to beat the trap? Pack snacks ahead of time. A protein bar from home saves you cash and the mental regret of paying $12 for a muffin. You've seen them through the glass walls. Plush chairs, soft lighting, free drinks. Airport lounges seem reserved for business travelers, celebrities, and platinum-tier frequent flyers. But here's the secret. You don't need status to get in. Many lounges offer day passes to anyone for a small fee. Even better, some credit cards, including ones with no annual fees, unlock free lounge access without you realizing it. The airline won't advertise this. Why would they? They'd rather you spend $20 on snacks in the terminal instead. Lounges offer quiet power outlets, food, and working Wi-Fi, all things you struggle to find outside the velvet rope. Next time you're stuck with a long layover, check your credit card perks or airline app. What you find might surprise you. You checked in early, you picked your seat, you even printed the boarding pass. But when you reach the gate, the agent says, "We're sorry, this flight is overbooked." Wait, what? Overbooking is not an accident. Airlines intentionally sell more tickets than they have seats, using decades of data to predict no-shows. When everyone shows up, that's when the shuffle begins. Some passengers are bumped, others are offered gift cards, and a few get stranded. It's legal, it's calculated, and it's all about profit. Every empty seat costs the airline money, so they gamble on you not showing up. To protect yourself, check in as early as possible and avoid the cheapest fare class when you can. Because your confirmed seat, it's only guaranteed until it isn't. You check your luggage, watch it roll away on the belt, and assume it's just taking the scenic route to the cargo hold. But your bag's journey is far more intense than you think. Every checked bag passes through a high-tech security maze, X-ray tunnels, chemical sniffers, shape scanners, and explosive detection systems, some of which are more powerful than hospital-grade imaging. These machines don't just scan your toothbrush, they analyze the density, shape, and behavior of your entire suitcase. And it all happens in seconds, before your bag even gets near the plane. These systems can even flag items that look like potential threats, leading to manual checks or delays without you ever knowing. So yes, your luggage is traveling solo, and it's being watched very, very closely. Think you're just one anonymous face in a crowd of travelers? Think again. Long before you approach the gate, airline staff might already know your name, and not just because you're a frequent flyer. Airlines keep internal notes on passengers. If you've ever caused a delay, filed an aggressive complaint, or had a heated moment at baggage claim, that info can follow you. Gate agents and flight attendants may get flagged with quiet alerts like "handle with care" or "require supervisor approval." It's not about punishment, it's protocol. Airlines want smooth operations, and knowing who might raise tension helps them plan accordingly. But it also means your behavior at one airport can affect how you're treated at the next. So next time you're tempted to lose your cool, remember, someone may be silently taking notes. You settle into your seat, lower the tray table, and unwrap your snack. Seems clean enough, right? Unfortunately, that tray table might be dirtier than the airplane bathroom handle. Studies have found tray tables carry everything from cold viruses and food residue to E. coli and even fecal bacteria. Why? Because while aircrafts are quickly tidied between flights, they're not deeply cleaned. Those surfaces you're eating on, they may not have been wiped in days, sometimes weeks. Flight crews prioritize safety, not sanitation. Deep cleaning happens once a month, if that. Meanwhile, hundreds of passengers touch those same armrests, belts, and trays, coughing, sneezing, and dropping food crumbs. If you want to avoid taking home more than just your luggage, bring sanitizing wipes. Wipe down everything you touch, because what you don't see might hitch a ride to your immune system. You're walking past a food kiosk when it hits you, that warm, sugary aroma of fresh-baked cookies. Your stomach growls, and suddenly, you're in line, buying a snack you didn't even want 2 minutes ago. Coincidence? Not at all. Airports use scent marketing, a subtle psychological tactic where smell is used to trigger emotion and impulse spending. That cookie smell? It's often artificial and pumped into ventilation systems near food courts and cafes. It creates comfort, nostalgia, and, most importantly, sales. Your senses are being hijacked. And it's not just cookies. Coffee, popcorn, even cinnamon buns are carefully chosen to stir emotion and open wallets. The fix? Be aware of the manipulation. That craving might not be hunger. It might be airport psychology working exactly as planned. You're cruising at 35,000 feet. The seatbelt sign is off. The cabin is calm. But up front, behind that locked cockpit door, your pilot might be asleep. No, it's not a nightmare scenario. It's actually standard procedure. On long-haul flights, pilots are required to take rest breaks. They alternate with co-pilots or rely on autopilot systems during non-critical phases of the flight. Some even nap in hidden compartments above or behind the cockpit. It's all carefully regulated. Studies show that well-rested pilots reduce error rates and improve decision-making under pressure. Would you rather have a sleepy captain during landing or one who just had a power nap? So, if you see your flight crew emerge from a quiet corner mid-flight looking refreshed, don't panic. That nap just made your journey safer. You've boarded a flight and look around. Half the seats are empty. In fact, some planes fly with barely anyone on board. Sounds like a financial disaster, right? Actually, it's a strategic move. These are called ghost flights, and they exist because of airport slot rules. Major airports assign airlines specific takeoff and landing times. If those slots go unused, they risk losing them to a competitor. So, instead of canceling, airlines will operate near-empty flights just to use the slot. It's wasteful, costly, and terrible for the environment. But for airlines, losing a valuable time slot is worse. These flights are scheduled not for passengers, but for future control over prime airport real estate. So next time you board a half-empty plane, remember, it might be flying more for business strategy than actual travel. It's not something anyone likes to think about, but yes, people sometimes pass away mid-flight. And when it happens, you won't hear a dramatic announcement or see panic break out. That's because airlines have secret code words to handle death discreetly. Terms like Jim Wilson or Operation Sunrise may sound like routine flight jargon, but to the crew, they signal a serious medical emergency, possibly a death on board. The goal is to keep passengers calm and avoid unnecessary panic in a confined space. In most cases, the crew will discreetly move the body to an unoccupied row or curtain it off. They'll notify the destination and let trained responders take over upon landing. It's a sensitive process handled with quiet professionalism. So, if you ever hear something oddly formal over the intercom, listen closely. You might be witnessing a hidden emergency in real time. You hear it over the intercom. Ladies and gentlemen, we've arrived ahead of schedule. Feels like a small win, right? But here's the truth. You didn't land early. You landed on time thanks to a little trick called schedule padding. Airlines add extra minutes, sometimes even an hour, to their official flight times. This creates a buffer so that even if there's a delay, they still appear punctual. It's not about improving service, it's about protecting on-time performance stats, which affect everything from airline rankings to staff bonuses. That early arrival? It's carefully engineered PR. You feel good, they avoid complaints, and the stats look stellar on paper. Everyone wins, except your sense of reality. So next time you want to applaud the pilot for landing 20 minutes early, remember, the real trick was in the schedule. The plane lands, the seatbelt sign dings, and what's the first thing most passengers do after grabbing their bags? Rush to the nearest bathroom. But here's the problem. That first restroom you see after deplaning is also the worst one in the terminal. It's the most crowded, the least cleaned, and the most chaotic. Dozens of passengers from your flight, and several before you, have all funneled into the same tiny space. Think overflowing trash, empty soap dispensers, and paper towels on the floor. The better move? Walk an extra 60 seconds deeper into the terminal. You'll often find cleaner, quieter, fully stocked restrooms with no wait. So, skip the stampede and give yourself a cleaner landing. Your bladder can wait. Your dignity will thank you. Bonus trick. You see your boarding group pop up on the screen, Group 5. Instantly, you feel the urge to line up, even though the plane won't leave without you. That's no accident. Boarding groups are a psychological tool, not just a logistical system. Airlines use them to create urgency, competition, and perceived privilege. Even the word priority triggers a subtle fear of missing out. You're nudged into lining up early, jockeying for position, and worrying about overhead bin space, even when there's plenty. It's all designed to keep you obedient, moving on cue, and less likely to resist last-minute gate changes or delays. Because if they've got you emotionally invested in Group 5, you're easier to manage. So next time you feel that twitch to jump in line, pause. Your seat is still there, but you're calm? That's what they're really boarding first. So, now you know, airports aren't just about flights. They're full of subtle tricks, pressure points, and psychological plays designed to guide your every move. From padded schedules to overpriced snacks and secret codes, you've just seen what really goes on behind the gate. Which trick surprised you the most? Let us know. And if you want more behind-the-scenes travel truths and smart flying tips, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Because next time you fly, you'll see the game for what it really is.